Hello class, in this video we're going to continue where we left off, but now what I want to show you is how to save your file within Illustrator. Now saving within Illustrator, relatively simple, but I want to talk about a couple of things just to keep in mind. So I'm going to zoom out. I can show you that within my document, I went beyond my artboard, which is not a problem. And we could see that we have just these fun shapes that I created from my previous demo. So we've gone over, just to recap, we went over how to create some shapes and how to change the fill color, the stroke value, how to manipulate some of these shapes, how to either display or hide the fill or stroke, how to change the stroke value as well, and how to manipulate some of these shapes using some of the built-in basic functionality of those shapes. So now that we have these different shapes created, maybe it's a time that, you know what, I have to finish up for the day. I want to save my work. I'm going to go into File, and I'm going to tell it at this time, since we have yet to save our file, for the first time, you can see right here where it says Untitled, and that little asterisk means that it hasn't been saved. I'm going to go to File, and telling it save and save as initially gives me the same options. But once we've saved it with the file name, I want to go to save to update the save. So I'm going to go ahead and tell it to file, save. It's going to bring open my options. Now there might be a window asking you before I even come here if I want to save on Adobe Cloud or onto my computer. So I previously selected to save onto my computer. So if you see that window, you have the option to either saving your work either to your Adobe Creative Cloud account or onto my computer. For my example, I'm telling it to save onto my computer. So once I have that open, this is the Mac interface. So I could click on this little arrow to expand my workspace. So I could have an area selected. I already have the folder that I want to save this, but I want to give it a name. So I'm going to go ahead and just call this my Illustrator demo. But for the format, I want to make sure that my file format is Adobe Illustrator, the .ai format. This is the working file format for Illustrator. In Photoshop, we had a .psd. In Illustrator, we have the .ai. So go ahead and select that. And I'm going to go ahead and tell it to save. We have this window, Illustrator options. Which version of Illustrator do you want to save your file as? Many of you are already going to have the latest version of Illustrator, so Illustrator 2020. Just go ahead and select that. But I do want to mention that there are certain instances where you might need to select a different file version, and you're able to select an older version, and this is there specifically if you need to move this file to an older computer or a computer that has an older version of Illustrator. And there are times where, especially in industry, where once they have a working production line, they don't change the format. So this makes sure that your file will be compatible with older versions of the application. But for our class, just leaving it at Illustrator 2020 is going to be more than fine. We're not going to change any of these settings here. I'm going to go ahead and tell it OK. It saves my file, and now my file has been saved. So next time we make a change, I move this or I add a new object in here. And let me go ahead and just change this color really quick to a blue sphere. And now I need to save my file. I could go to File and just tell it Save. Or on a Mac, Command S. On a PC, Control S. Remember to memorize that keyboard combination. So whenever you are taking a break, just Command or Control S to save your file using the keyboard shortcuts, and your file has been saved. So this concludes the materials for week 9A, and I want you at this point to experiment working within Illustrator, just creating these fun shapes. Save your work, save your file. You don't have to submit this, but you know how to save this file. So I'll see you in the next video.